Hey people, this is a lovable lunatic laughing man speaking, and with me is everyone's favorite misanthrope, CineMax.
So we heard that you folks would like to see more frequent content from us, with some of you even hinting that you wouldn't mind us resorting to a more traditional audio-only podcast format.
That's right, Max, which is why we decided to launch a separate spin-off show called the CCS podcast After Hours.
Now, before you hastily put this video on pause and proceed to write an enraged response in which you accuse us of becoming lazy and or call us massive faggots, allow us to explain exactly what the new series will be.
So before we have to go out and rent a second dumpster for all the hate mail, let's make something really clear. After Hours is not replacing the CCS video podcast, so rest assured, you'll still get our regular show every 2 weeks. Think of this as free bonus content where we pair off and take on hot topics within the entertainment industry.
And before you ask, yes, the new series will be audio only to ensure that we're able to release these discussions as timely as possible. Plus, since there's no feasible way for all of us to be in the same room simultaneously, I'm afraid webcam recordings are also sadly not an option.
And because this is an audio-only spin-off series, you don't need to devote your entire attention to flashing ADHD skits. Think of all the shit you can actually get done while you go about your trite little lives. Listen to us while gaming, doing homework, cleaning your room, making a sandwich, or even surfing the net for midget clown porn. What? So the Superman-Batman logo has been revealed, and Zack Schnider has been saying, it's gonna be awesome. And my biggest question is, why are they even attempting this? I mean, you gotta look back at the previous Batman movies. All three of them, from Batman Begins all the way up till The Dark Knight Rises, have been critically acclaimed.
And financially successful.
While the last two modern Superman movies have had mixed reviews, and I'm not sure if they've been financially successful or not.
Well, here's the thing. From the numbers I'm seeing at Box Office Mojo, Man of Steel has actually been financially successful, but as you said, it has seriously polarized the audience, with some people being more warm towards this interpretation of Superman, whilst others, including ourselves by the way, disregarding it as a shallow attempt to make Superman grittier and more realistic and serious and blah blah blah.
And not at all a hero.
Precisely.
I've never been a fan of Superman, I'm gonna just flat out say that.
No.
I know, blasphemy, right? This godlike character who has every fucking power available, like as if like Rogue got a gangbang or something.
Imagine if that was like Zack Snyder's new take on Superman, that he had to fuck people to get all these powers. It's like
Flash, I need to run fast, make it quick.
You know, the Flash fucks him up the ass and bam, new power acquired, just like Mega Man.
But anyways, so the Batman movies have turned out really well. The late Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times was praising The Dark Knight, and before that, the Batman Begins movie. He says, compared to the Burton and especially the
Joel
Schumacher versions, he says, finally somebody got it right with Batman Begins. And it's a successful franchise, so why are they trying to take their best franchise, DC's best franchise, and merge it with a franchise that frankly neither fits into the universe or has been necessarily that successful?
Well, I guess my best response would be is that Warner Brothers, despite the lukewarm reception Man of Steel has received, really wants to go through with a Justice League movie. However, like I said, Man of Steel has been financially successful, but has received a lot of mixed reviews from the audience. So, they don't want to waste any more money on any kind of any additional Superman reboots or reinterpretations and whatnot. They just want to go through with the Justice League movie, and they want to finally compete with Marvel, despite the fact it's going to be like, what, 3 years too late, whatever. But they still need to establish a lot of these new characters, one of which is of course the new version of Batman. So I guess what they decided to do here is to kill two birds with one stone. A, introduce Batman, and B, secure the financial stability of the Man of Steel sequel by basically just shoving Batman into it, because hey, you know, Batman is a box office draw, so people are gonna go and watch this Man of Steel 2 regardless because it has Batman in it.
My biggest problem is that, okay, Batman is as best when he's dark, And Superman is honestly best when he's a little bit campy. For instance, I just got done watching the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. Far superior, in my own opinion, to the original theatrical cut. And then the Superman Returns movie, which I also watched, went in the same route as the Richard Donner first two movies, becoming a direct sequel to Superman 2, technically.
The Wrath of Zod.
Exactly. But Superman's always been best when he's just a little bit campy. To me, Superman, when he's played straight, he's not at all interesting.
No.
To me, he's more of an ideal.
Yes.
He's more of like a figure of what what everyone should strive to be, kind of, versus what he actually is. The original Superman was a lot more down to earth. He couldn't fly. He didn't have laser eyesight, X-ray vision, freeze breath, all this other bullshit they added. He was born on a planet that had a higher gravity than Earth. He could jump higher, run faster, and was super dense and like resistant to bullets. And he was also super strong.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. This amazing stranger from the planet Krypton, the Man of Steel, Superman.
So that version of Superman was played a lot straighter, and to me it's more of an ideal version than the demigod we got right now. When you got a movie like the ones that Christopher Reeves starred in, there has to be a little bit of camp. I mean, there has to be a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor. There has to be a little bit of fun with it.
That's the charm of those movies.
Exactly. And when you take Superman, you try putting him into Batman's universe where everything's super serious, super dark. It's not going to work, because Superman does not work as a straight dark character.
Not to mention is, like I said, the version of the Batman that we're going to get in this movie is going to be a new version, and maybe it will have some semblance to Christopher Nolan's version, and I don't know, but basically what we're getting here is a brand new character. And yet Zack Schnider has already gone on record saying that, he wants to bring the conflict from The Dark Knight Returns to the screen in this sequel. And it's like, well, how can you really do this in the second Superman movie, or the second Man of Steel movie? Because, spoilers, but whatever, Man of Steel ends with basically Superman ostensibly saving the day, but also destroying the military satellite and basically telling the government to go fuck themselves, and he's gonna do anything he wants, and that basically, he's taking the planet hostage. And now, apparently, we fast forward to Man of Steel 2, where Superman is somehow the government's puppet, while Batman represents the rebellion, or... Huh? What?
You cost me hours of work last night.
Then I'll get right to it. You have to go back into retirement. You're upsetting too many people. Why do you always have to be like this? You played right into their hands last time. When the parents' groups and the subcommittees came after us, you're the one they pointed to. You act like a criminal.
We are criminals, Clark. We always have been. You're still one, too. Only difference is you have a boss.
So yeah, they are going off the Frank Miller excerpt, the plot line there. But still, there's a huge jump in logic. I mean, first of all, Superman needs to have some type of transitional period where he goes from "fuck you, government" to the
Goody Two-Shoes character seen in Dark Knight Returns graphic novel.
Exactly. And also, there needs to be more than just a fight between Batman and Superman. I mean, there needs to be a villain for them to team up and try tackling. I mean, there has to be like Lex Luthor, or there has to be I guess I can't do the Joker, but
no, too soon. Yeah, too soon. But there has to be something besides just a Batman versus Superman fight, because people want to see them working together. I mean, you can begin their relationship with a confrontation, because you take someone like Superman and Batman, and they are ideological opposites of one another. One is a vigilante working from the darkness, trying to take down the absolute worst of the crime world. Crooks, killers, psychopaths, etc. And then you've got Superman, who is extolled as this kind of demigod creature who visits sick people in hospitals, who helps take down cats from trees, etc. So of course, as was done in the crossover in the DC animated universe, they sort of like start off as adversaries, because Superman doesn't really know Batman. He thinks he's this kind of crazed vigilante, etc.
I heard you were crazy. I didn't think you were stupid. Bruce Wayne? You peaked. I won't have vigilantism in my town. You'll be rid of me. As soon as I find the Joker. That may not be soon enough.
They can start off as enemies, but I think that a lot of people would like to see them work together, or rather, they need to start working together if they want to lead into a possible future Justice League movie.
Right, and I think that's where it's all going. More than likely, they'll have some paper thin reason for them to be fighting.
Yeah, but you mentioned villains. Let's talk about villains. Like we said, it's too early for the Joker because Heath Ledger's Joker is still fresh in everyone's minds, and
it's still the quintessential Joker.
Yeah, in many ways, it's not the exact same version as seen in the comic books, but I think he is the perfect
incarnation, adaptation,
personification of what the Joker is, and that is absolute chaos. I really, really don't want to see. Honestly, I can't even think of anyone else who can play the Joker now. But yeah, they go back to this kind of flamboyant type of Joker who just wants to get rich and whatnot, and he doesn't really kill people and just wants to have fun and dances to Prince music and whatnot. And if it's not someone like Lex Luthor teaming up with Joker, what other type of villain can you have there? Brainiac?
Right.
Okay, but why do you need Batman? Why does Superman need Batman's help to take down what is essentially a trademark Superman villain?
Right, almost a godlike villain too, because you gotta realize that Superman is very godlike. His villains are godlike.
Yes.
Batman is very much mortal man, and his villains are human, psychopathic humans, which makes Batman comics, in my opinion, and Batman IPs much better quality stories. But you can't have a godlike creature like Brainiac come out of outer space and try to enslave the world and have any use for Batman unless he is like going to give Brainiac's ship like a virus like Independence Day.
I suspected that we might meet Batman.
You got into Wayne's computers during his partnership with LexCorp.
Yes.
You saw that his company could build you a rocket, so you took control of Bruce Wayne and had him authorize the project.
You're every bit the detective that your followers on the internet believe.
I also know how you work. Collect the planet's knowledge, then destroy it. I can't allow you to leave.
What you allow does not concern me. While your deductive skills are impressive, you are still only human.
I really don't see them going down that route, because I would think they would try to preserve Brainiac for something bigger than just, it's honestly, it's not the kind of story that I want to see a live-action Batman be a part of, especially after, Christopher Nolan's more down-to-earth, more, dare I say, realistic take on the character, who was more about, just preserving order in this one city, making a difference in people's lives, and now we're gonna have Batman flying in a spaceship to Brainiac's flying fortress of doom or whatever, and uploading some kind of virus, like you said, a la Independence Day. That's just
stupid. That's just corny. That's just too corny for Batman. It's probably not corny. It's probably within the realms of possibility within the Superman universe. But you gotta realize you gotta cater to both. I mean, and the problem is they wrote both characters. The two incarnations of the characters that work best is Superman is a little bit campy and Batman is super dark. The audiences have pretty much spoken with the previous movie franchises, but I still think Lex Luthor could be a good villain just because he has resources to make machines or whatever that can fight Superman. And then as far as the Batman angle, it'd be like a chess match between two chess masters. I mean, both Batman and Lex Luthor are extremely brilliant, and they'd be pitting their pieces against each other. Like I said, it'd be great. It'd be a great like game of cat and mouse, like the anime Death Note.
That was the last piece I needed.
Got it all figured out, have you?
When you and Adam worked together to stop the first Amazo, he showed you the blueprints. And I suspect you have a photographic memory.
I'm too modest to boast.
The real purpose of Cadmus was to give you superpowers.
And to ruin Superman's reputation. Imagine how sweet it will be when I save the world from the menace of the Justice League. Now, when I kill Superman, they'll build statues in my honor.
Maybe next time.
See, on the one hand, I kind of agree that Lex Luthor can be a great adversary for both Superman and Batman, but at the same time, if you think about it, Lex Luthor is kinda eerily too close to Batman. Yeah.
So what they really need to do is they need to have a Superman-like villain from the Batman universe, like Bane, and then have a Batman-like villain from the Superman universe to kind of like do like not necessarily role reversal though, but just kind of like trade off. I mean, if you have Brain and Brawn, Superman, Batman, not in that order, teaming up, then you gotta have the same thing with the villains.
But to conclude all of this, let's say that the Superman-Batman movie is somehow successful, that somehow it has worked, and unlike the Man of Steel, it was universally praised, this new version of Batman was accepted, and Warner Brothers goes forward with their vision of the Justice League. As we all know, after the Superman-Batman movie, the next character to see an adaptation on the big screen is the Flash.
Whoopee! Another tale of some guy who gets magic powers, and then he uses those powers in a cocky and fun way until he becomes the hero that everybody really needs to have.
I'm sorry, did you just describe the Green Lantern movie, or were you talking about the Flash?
I just described every fucking comic book movie.
Every origin story, let's be honest.
Pretty much. I mean,
yeah. We've talked about this before. With Wonder Woman, there is potential to make this kind of God of War, epic, 300-ish story with gods and mythological creatures, and maybe at the end have Wonder Woman be transported to modern day so that you have the fish out of water element. Kind of like the ending of Captain America, where she ends up in present day.
I know. When I was thinking of that angle, you pointed out the Captain America angle. I'm like, ah, fuck.
Yeah, but listen. At least that's something interesting, and that can somehow tie up to the Justice League movie because, you know, Diana, she doesn't understand where she is. She's not ready for this kind of world. Then Superman appears, and kind of Superman works with the government to reintroduce her to society or whatever. And then there's the Flash. Guy gets the power to run at the speed of light, and his arch nemesis is a talking gorilla. I mean, what can you do with this character?
Tell you what, you ditch the mind control helmet, and I'll ditch the headband.
Flash, don't!
Come on, Gorilla My Dreams, take off the helmet.
You're a bigger fool than I thought.
Oh yeah? Well, you're naked.
That's one of my problems with the Flash is I don't know any of his villains. I don't know any of his like Nemesis roster. Super
Captain Cold.
Superman, it's like Lex Luthor, bam, you can name it right off the top of your head. Batman, Joker, bam, and you can name off like 5 other ones. You know, Penguin, Catwoman, Bane, and Scarecrow. But Flash, I mean, if you said name a Flash villain, I'd be like,
Well, here's the thing. The Flash and pretty much all of the Justice League characters, with the exception of Superman, Batman, and possibly Wonder Woman, they work better as a part of a larger team as opposed to having their own standalone stories, because as was brought up in the Sublime Bruce Timm Justice League animated series, the Flash is pretty much like the conscience of the team. You know, he's a little bit cocky, he's less serious than everyone, but that's the reason why they keep him around, is to sort of remind them that, you know, hey, we're not these kind of infallible demigods who have the right to tell people what to do and subjugate them. This is supposed to be about helping people, not subjugating them. Because if you remember, there was a 2-parter, Best of Both Worlds, or A Better World, or whatever, basically, in which
the Flash dies.
The Flash dies, Superman kills Lex Luthor, everything goes to shit.
Yep.
So to have Flash be the more like idealistic of the team, kind of like, you know, Tony Stark with the Avengers. You know, everybody's like, you know, I'm a SHIELD operative, or I'm a soldier. Then, you know, Bruce Banner was basically blackmailed into helping them, whereas Tony just wanted to be a part of the team because, you know, hey, you know, superhero antics and whatnot. You know, we're here to save the day.
Well, actually, he is more suspicious about
SHIELD.
SHIELD, but still.
I suppose, but still, at the end of the day, he was the one who nearly sacrificed himself with the nuke, not the Hulk or my absolute favorite character, Thor.
Chirp, chirp, chirp.
Precisely. But so again, you've got all these characters like Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter. All of them can work as a part of a Justice League story, and I'm not talking about like a Justice League.
They need to play off each other. Is what they need.
Yeah, and I'm not when I say like they can work as a part of a Justice League story, I'm not talking about like an origin story. I'm talking about something more interesting, where the characters are at odds with one another, like Justice League Doom. You know.
Yep.
But to have solo movies for a character like the Flash, It's gonna be a carbon copy of the Green Lantern movie, and oh wait, we forgot. The Flash has to share continuity with the darker and grittier Superman, as well as even more darker and grittier Batman. So what's gonna be Flash's angle?
Right. What's going to be his character complexity? There's got to be more layers than he's the optimist or he's the fun one or whatever. I mean, he's got to have some reason that makes him a hero, and there's got to be something in his psyche that is a weakness. I mean, for his enemies to exploit.
Well, maybe he can only access his superpowers if he does speedballs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's... Oh, maybe that's the reason why he's the optimist, because he's high all the time. But then, when we cut back to, like, his normal life, and his girlfriend like, Barry, why are you being so aggressive? Like, shut up, bitch, I need to get high!
The origin of the Flash's powers looks like the fucking scene from Scarface where he has that mountain of coke on his desk.
Oh, that's right. That's how they rectify his origin, because in the original Flash comics, he's like a police investigator, and he was working with some chemicals, and he got struck by lightning, and somehow that makes him run fast. In this new version, he's a drug manufacturer, who's making blue meth or something, and then the lightning strikes, and, he inhales all the blue meth, and he starts...
Breaking Flash.